Hello everyone. So let's do one more round of satsang. Let me start by just this chant. Ya kundendu tushar har dhavala, ya shubhra vastravrita, ya veenavar dand mandit kara, ya shvet padmasana, ya brahmachyut shankar prabhritibhi, devai sada vandita, samam patu saraswati bhagavati, nihshesh jangyapaha. So, first of all, Happy New Year to all of you. I think here in California, when I'm recording, it's just probably an hour or so before midnight. So today, I'm going to talk about just light topics, but important topics about spiritual life. Because we are right at the beginning of a new year. Many people take it as a beginning for something new in their life. And I'm sure some people also make resolutions around spiritual life. But you know what I think? That in spiritual life, we can start a new beginning all the time, anytime. There is no set time. I know many people who treat any event during a calendar year as a new beginning. Some people will start something new at the beginning of a month. Some people will start something new at the beginning of a week. Some people just go by lunar calendars, so for a fortnight. In our Vedic tradition, a lot of, you will see, austerities are done by the lunar calendar. And in spiritual life, we can start at all the time, any time, because of the nature of a spiritual life. The nature of a spiritual life is not a straight line, not a straight line to the right. That means it's like, it's just going upwards and making progress all the time. It's not possible for anyone. So pretty much everyone goes through ups and downs. That is just the nature of a spiritual life. And that is based on the design of our subtle body, Sukshma Sharir. See, in two of my videos that I have done, only with the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, that knowledge, we cover pretty much the essence of the spiritual life and the essence of our Vedic tradition. One of that is the design of man, the design of mind in general language, but mind is not the right term, man or manas you can say. And the second is the video about Virj. Virj is more like the most fundamental property of anything that we see in this world. So there are two fundamental properties. One you can call is it hot and cold, Ushna and Sheet. So those are the two most fundamental property of anything that we experience: sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, any sense that we can experience in terms of life, or we can create, take action, that fall into those two buckets. And as a combination of those two buckets, if you have X and Y, two variables, we can create three buckets, three broader buckets, where X is more than Y is more than X, and X is kind of similar to Y. So that's how we have three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So three gunatmak Prakriti, what they say. So when we have high amount of Shitalta, which is coolness, we have a lot of Sattva. When we have a lot of that repelling Ushnata, which is warmness, hotness, and that is called Tamas. Very tamasic foods are very hot, chilly and all that. And then when it's balanced in the middle, it's called Rajas. So So that's on just the two fundamental properties. And other is design of man, that is a probably one of the most important video I've done last year, which is just the design of man in our subtle body and how it moves, how we make progress. And it's like a Russian doll, nested Russian doll. And to go from and think of a long, some long cloth or long, it's like, think about a cylindrical, very long water pipe, which is layered on Russian dolls, and then they are nested together. So in order for one to make progress from the inner doll to the upper doll, one has to go up, to then down again, then up, next up, and down again. So it's like higher highs, and the bottom remains fixed. But once you get to a high, you do have to come down again, all the way to the bottom, and then go back up again. So for someone to go from third center, from Manipur to Anahat, one has to come down to Mooladhara again, and then go back up to Anahat again. But what happens is, the force, right, the strength of one's sanskar, or just the strength of strength of mind when it's at the Mooladhara, is much weaker, when someone is going from Mooladhara to Swadhisthana versus someone who is going from, Manipur to Anahat, from third to fourth. You think about this as it's a layer, a glass window through which we are looking outside. And as we make progress, the glass becomes thinner and thinner. We are kind of just eroding it as we go higher and higher. And in the end, as we go to the sixth center, that's what Sri Ramakrishna describes, that then you cannot make a difference, because the glass is so thin that you can't make a difference between inside and outside, but still there is a boundary. But for practical reasons, it's the same. So it's the glass which has to be thinned through our spiritual practice. And in that process, mind has to come down. There is no way around it. So what happens, people have tried to describe it in many ways, like dark night of the soul. And, if you go to anyone who has done a lot of spiritual practice and has gained some success, like genuine spiritual teachers, gurus, babas, they will tell you that they have faced that in their life, in the spiritual life, and they did not recognize it, while they were doing their practice, but they got encouragement from their teachers to just carry on. It's just part of the life. So you will see many of these teachers talk about, in terms of like, there are many valleys on the way to the peak. So basically it's just that, higher highs and coming back to the bottom again, and then going back to higher highs. So why I'm telling you this is, in that process of that spiritual life, one cannot give up. One cannot become frustrated. One has to have this attitude that, every day is a new day. Every hour is a new hour. So we have to make this new beginning all the time. So one has to maintain that enthusiasm, like a great enthusiasm towards the spiritual life. And so one should not take that as a project where we are going to the finish line, it's going to be over. That's going to lead to a frustration. And that's why a lot of people drop out, in the sense like they give up on their practice, on the austerity, the hard work. Yeah, and I think it's not their fault. In many ways, these things have not been explained, these things have not been explained. But in some cases, if they're lucky, if they have a good teacher, someone who knows all this, they give them encouragement, and somehow, they pull them up. They don't allow them to drop out. But this is very important, to have the attitude that this is not just a one-time project. Yes, there will be some bad day or maybe bad weeks or bad year in spiritual life, but that's just part of the process. We're still making progress. We're still going higher. We just have to come back and kind of start another hike up. And when we come back down almost to the valley, we feel like, oh, we lost all the views. Here we have to hike all over again. But no, this time we are going to get even better views when we go up there. So the attitude is very important, in the spiritual life. Like, one has to really get in and maintain one's spiritual life with, it's as if someone is, is like preparing for, let's say, in Olympics. One has to maintain an attitude of a great athlete, in spiritual life, where one does not give up. And you see what really motivates an athlete is, I don't think they really, of course they want to do well, they want to win medals, but they're not stupid. Actually, athletes are one of the most smartest people. They know that their odds of winning a medal, is high, but not certain. But I think they enjoy the process. They just enjoy the process of training, just enjoy the competition, enjoy basically the effort that they are making. They enjoy their own effort, or making their own effort, that they enjoy the process of that. This is just a very nice, positive attitude. And I think one has to maintain that attitude, in spiritual life to be successful. And I think people who are very successful in spiritual life, they generally have this attitude. They don't give up. They know there will be bad days. We all sleep. Today was very foggy and overcast day. I didn't get up at my normal time. I still managed to get up before sunrise, but I was disappointed with myself. But then I realized my two mistakes. I had my dinner kind of late last night, and then it was a super overcast day, so prana was not flowing. So then, I recognized my mistake. Then I say, okay, I'm going to have dinner early today. So today I had my dinner quite early, so I'm kind of ready to now get up early tomorrow. At least I made an effort. So we'll see tomorrow, but tomorrow is going to be a sunny day, so hopefully no problem. So my point is, in spiritual life, we have to fight like all the time. It's not a fight which really tires us. Actually, this is a fight that gives us joy, which motivates us, gives us more energy to fight another day, next day. And if we keep doing it, after a while, it becomes actually quite enjoyable, the process itself. And it also gives us a lot of power, spiritual power to carry on. And that is actually very important. That's very important. One has to feel that, inside, as one does the practice, that I'm getting stronger, just from like internal first person point of view, that yes, I can do it. I'm becoming unshakable. People cannot really hurt me so quickly. I'm going to be unaffected by a lot of things. I'm kind of feeling very comfortable, in who I am. Like, not in an arrogant way, but in a way which is a lot more, I would say, fundamentally driven by we like getting closer to our true self. And that is a good sign. That's a great sign of spiritual progress, more than any realization or whatever spiritual experience one may have. And that's great if one has that, but there is so much bogus information around that it's even hard to recognize it, and the ones who recognize it are really not making that much of a progress. So that's a big problem. But when we feel inside that, okay, we are feeling really strong internally, feeling happy, feel like I can take on any problem in life. I know there are problems in life, but it's okay. Somehow we are going to get through it. Like these kind of feelings, which makes us feel better and reduces our anxiety. If we start to feel that, that means we are making progress in a spiritual life. But in general, even then, we can slip again. There could be events. Someone gets sick in the family. Like if you are in family or anywhere in the world, they can issues at the job front. Economies, COVID virus, recession. You never know, right? Accidents, sickness, all kind of problems are there. So sometimes we have no option but to tackle those problems. It will be a stupid idea to meditate when your house is on fire. So we do have sometimes, we have to compromise and fix the problem first, and then we kind of, it does affect our spiritual life, and then we have to come back when we get time and start again, new beginning, start again, and then very quickly, we get back to where we were, and then we start again, right? Then we make progress. So this is very important, having this right attitude to make a new beginning every day. And if we do that, then we can enjoy the life. You see, one should not feel guilty about enjoying one's spiritual life. Because that's the whole purpose. That's the whole purpose. And that's the real, I would say, teaching to the world. When we live a life, right? When we make an effort, tremendous effort, work hard on our own spiritual life, and it does influence, impacts, shapes our life in a very positive way, and then people interact with us or they see our life, and then they think, maybe they try to understand about why that person is that way, why that person did not get angry, or why that person is not that disturbed by that accident, and then they start to understand and appreciate, and then they want to make few changes in their life, and that's how it works. So I guess the most important thing is for us to work on ourselves, and this work is a lot of work. Spiritual life is not easy. It's a lot of work. It's a big commitment, but it could be a lot of fun also if we have the right attitude, the attitude of an athlete. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about. For me, this last 1 year has been quite interesting. It was last year, like 2022, I randomly started to this. I decided, okay, I'm going to put something on YouTube. No, I had no idea what I would do. I'm actually really impressed by Steve Jobs. And like probably a decade ago, around 2005 to 10, I used to be very inspired by him and used to watch a lot of his videos. He's like, there are not that many actually, sadly, but in one of his short video, he says that we got to start, like that mindset of an entrepreneur. Like a lot of people keep thinking and keep dreaming, keep debating, but they don't start anything, And his point is, you got to start. You need to pick up the phone and make your first phone call. And I actually really bought into that idea. So many times in my life, I just start. And I think that applies to spiritual life too. We don't have to, wait and for the right yoga mat and the right yoga studio and we have time. We got to start. Like we can start tomorrow by okay, I'm just going to make one change in my life, that I'm going to get up 15 minutes before sunrise. Just one change. You got to start. And if that works for a week or month, then I'll make it half an hour, right? Or next quarter, maybe 1 hour. And then I see, in order to stick to that change, I need to make few other changes to my life. Like I need to sleep early, I need to have my dinner early, maybe I need to have light dinner. I need to cut back on my screen time. Like that, if we just fix one variable in our life, we need to, and if we commit to that, it will change our life, But we got to start, and we can, and anyone can make that start, that I'm going to get up 15 minutes before sunrise tomorrow, or whatever their time is, wake up time is. I'm going to get up 15 minutes before that. So that principle of you got to start, I think, has application in every field of life. So sometimes, it's like a ulti khopri, right? I mean, I just do it. I just say I'm going to start. So in 2022, it was, Dev-Utthana ka Ekadasi, in Kartik, Ekadasi of the lunar calendar. I said, I'm just going to record something. And I just took my phone and just recorded and put it on the YouTube. And voice quality was so low. So it took me first 10 videos just to figure out the sound quality, and I had no idea. So I thought, okay, I'm going to put it like some kind of a podcast. And it was just horrible. And, my family members, like my niece, she was very, like she had to tell me that my videos are really bad. And she didn't know how to say that. So anyhow, so it took me quite a while, like few months, to figure out just the setup, how to get the audio right and video right, and also the content, like what I'm going to talk about. It took me a few months to settle on this format of satsang, and it was a good experience also. Like, I'm glad that if people are watching this, I think I have like 200 subscribers on this channel, but I really honestly wish that two things I don't see, like the view count and the number of subscribers. If I had an option to mute them on YouTube, I would do that, because those two things, we are all humans. Like the moment we go on that website, eyes do, and I have trained kind of my eyes to not look at them. But it will be nicer if we just I didn't have that, because that is absolutely not what motivates me. But in the beginning, my channel had like 7 or 8 subscribers. And my wife used to make fun of me that, look, I know who those subscribers are. They're your mother, your sisters, and your other family members. But the truth is, who can keep your ego in check? Your spouse. And if your ego is still much bigger than that it cannot be checked, your daughters will definitely keep your ego in check. Yeah. So in the beginning they were just learning, and even now, even now, like no one in my family knows that I do these videos, I have this channel, other than my like immediate family members who live with me. And my niece, because she is interested in a little bit of spiritual things, so I told her. But like my parents and my sisters and other family members, they don't know. I just don't want to tell them, because I don't want them to keep watching my videos again. My mom will stop watching everything else, and my wife used to make fun of me that your view count will go up. It's very weird. Yeah, I'm sure if I told my mom that about this channel, she'll stop watching everything else and just keep running it, even though she does not understand English. Yeah, so that's the weird thing, but that's why I haven't told them. So yeah, but see, I'm really glad actually I started, because it took me probably 3-4 months to just figure out the setup. And then in the meantime, I have continued my practice. So last year has been a good year in terms of me continue to focus on my own spiritual practice. and kind of get clarity in my own head, kind of get organized in my own head, in my thinking. And now I feel like, and also with a bunch of events that happened in the last few months that I've talked about, I also got a bit of a clarity about the future. So I'm actually very excited about the next year. Spiritual life in general and spirituality is not a random thing. It's actually a science, where if we do a certain things, it will have a definite result. It's just not, it's almost impossible to understand. It's just like artificial intelligence right now. Right now it's a stupid thing to write a mathematical formula to understand, artificial intelligence. You will not get admission to any college because people have assumed that we cannot understand it. That's the case with spirituality in terms of, what the life is, what the world is, what's the relationship between us and the world. But that doesn't mean it's not understandable. That's why, people come here from outside the world. Avatars like Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Rama, Krishna, Sri Ramanuja, in other traditions like Jesus and all. And what they do is they reveal that knowledge to us, which we cannot get here. And by using that knowledge, that spiritual knowledge, the spiritual science, we can live our life very beautifully here. And we can, in the end, we can achieve the objective function of achieving that eternal life of joy and bliss, that immortality. But at the essence of it, it's very, very simple. It's very simple. So over the last 1 year, I have kind of shaped my thoughts, and you will see on my playlist, that's kind of what it's going to be. And also, I got this now I have a very clear things to do in my mind. Beyond those, the core science of spirituality is the unfinished work of Sri Ramakrishna. And they fall into 3 buckets. These things are very clear now. Reintroduction of Sri Ramakrishna to the world. Realization and dissemination of the great spiritual truth for the benefit of all humanity. And third is, direct connection between Sri Ramakrishna and anyone, who wants to be helped by Sri Ramakrishna in their spiritual life. So all these things, has grown into my mind over last year, and I feel great. Now I have a lot of clarity in terms of, how I want to tackle these things going forward. And I also know how to handle this camera and this microphone. I spend like 0 second on editing. So if you guys find it uncomfortable, sometime I put some chart or something which is not even visible. I'm sorry about that. Maybe in future at some point I might learn a few more skills. But for now, we're just going to continue with this setup. But yeah, I'm actually very excited for the next year. We'll cover a lot more on the practical side of practice, the philosophy. And we need to do a lot of work on fixing the error, in all the garbage that has been produced over the last 2,500 years, in the name of different philosophies, bogus philosophies in our Vedic tradition. And now I think, now that the dissemination of knowledge, dissemination of information is so easy, we can introduce the true and correct knowledge, correct information to help people. I think that was one of the instruction of Sri Ramakrishna. All right. So yeah, I'm actually very excited. In general, I like to feel good. Feel good in the sense like to feel energetic, motivated, to do things. Like in any field, like I like to go to battle, not to fight. I might have been to battle in my previous life, but I like to attack problems. I don't like to sit there and just, be depressed. And I have not, we all go through life. Like there have been once or twice in my life where I have not been in that frame of mind, and I know them very clearly because they have been exception, and I hate them those times. And now I know exactly why I slipped. Because I kind of veered off the fundamentals of just living a good disciplined life, not even spiritual, just good disciplined daily life. And if we do that, it kind of drags us down, so it's very important. But it's good for us to even to succeed in spiritual life, not to say, in material world. We have to stay excited, motivated, feel energetic, just attack in kind of an attack mode on a problem, not let the problem drown us. And all this while knowing that we are in this virtual sentient reality which is on an autopilot. We are really not doing anything. It's all just happening. But still, when we are in this game, it's much more fun to have that mindset of strength rather than the mindset of weakness. All right. So I really hope you all had a good year this year, 2023, and looking forward to next year. I wish you all a good, exciting, strong, joyful, happy New Year 2024, and hopefully I will be able to produce a few more hopefully useful things. We'll see. Frankly, right now I don't have a very good idea how next year will evolve in terms of this work, because I didn't have that idea last year. So we'll see. I take it from just day to day or week to week, whatever comes to my mind, I talk about it. And I'm sure things are going to evolve beyond my current plan or imagination, what I just talked about. So that's fine, totally. All right, so I'll stop here. I'll just take this chant and then we'll stop. All right. Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram, Ram Ram Jai Raja Ram, Ram Ram Jai Sita Ram. Krishna Krishna Vrindavan Dham, Krishna Krishna Jai Radhe Shyam, Krishna Krishna Vrindavan Dham, Krishna Krishna Jai Radhe Shyam. Ram Krishna Jai Sita Ram, Ram Krishna Jai Radhe Shyam, Ram Krishna Jai Sita Ram, Ram Krishna Jai Radhe Shyam. All right then, take care. We'll talk again in New Year. Okay then, bye.